On June 11, 2026, the 2026 FIFA World Cup opened at the Borte Stadium in Mexico City. 83,000 fans packed into the ground. The noise was extraordinary. Shakira performed. The stadium that hosted two World Cup finals in 1970 and 1986 delivered exactly what a World Cup opening should feel like. And somewhere, watching on a screen, a Senegal's fan named Djibril Gueye, who had planned for years to follow his team to this tournament, who had watched Senegal qualify, who had dared to imagine being there, was not in that stadium, was not in the United States at all, was watching from wherever he could find a screen, because the country hosting his team's group stage matches had legally closed its borders to him. Djibril told the Associated Press exactly what he thought about that. If the United States is barring certain visitors, he said, then the country shouldn't agree to host the World Cup. That sentence from an ordinary football fan, not a federation official or a politician or an analyst, is the most honest summary of what has happened to this tournament. And it opens a story that deserves to be told completely, with every country named, with every restriction explained, with the human reality of what it means when the world's biggest sporting event closes its doors to roughly 1 in 5 countries on Earth. Let's go through all of it. To understand the scale of what's happened, you need to start with the two proclamations that created it. On June 4, 2025, Presidential Proclamation 10,843 was signed. It suspended all visa categories for nationals of 19 countries. Then, on December 16, 2025, a second proclamation expanded the list to 39 countries in total, taking effect on January 1, 2026, 5.5 months before the opening ceremony. The stated purpose was to protect the security of the United States. The combined effect was to make roughly 1 in 5 countries on Earth unable to obtain the standard tourist visa needed to attend World Cup matches on American soil. 20% of the world locked out of an event held in the name of the world. Here is the complete list of countries affected, with each restriction clearly explained. The countries facing full travel bans, meaning nationals cannot obtain any tourist visa category to enter the United States, are Afghanistan, Belarus, Bhutan, Burma, Cuba, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Laos, Libya, North Korea, Russia, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, Syria, and Venezuela. That's 19 countries, all of them under full restriction. The countries added in the December expansion facing partial restrictions, including suspended B1, B2 tourist visas, and additional screening requirements are Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Burundi, Cameroon, Chad, Côte d'Ivoire, the Democratic Republic of Timor, Leste, Djibouti, Dominica, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Guinea, Bissau, Malawi, Mauritania, Niger, Pakistan, Rwanda, Senegal, Tanzania, Togo, Turkmenistan, Uganda, and Yemen. That's 39 in total. Each one is a country whose nationals cannot easily or legally attend World Cup matches in the United States. Now here is the sporting consequence. Of those 39 countries, 4 have qualified for the 2026 World Cup. 4 nations whose players earned their place through merit, through qualifying campaigns, through years of preparation, but whose fans cannot follow them into American stadiums. Haiti, Iran, Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal. Let's talk about each one specifically because each story is its own kind of injustice. Haiti, the most extraordinary qualification story of this entire tournament. A country in the middle of a humanitarian crisis, gang violence, displacement, institutional collapse, found a way to put together a football team and qualify for their first World Cup. Their opening match is with Scotland in Boston on June 14th. Boston City Councilor Ruth C. Lou June, who is of Haitian descent, publicly appealed for the travel ban to be eased so Haitian fans could attend the stadium. She said there were efforts by the Haitian ambassador, efforts to ease the restrictions. Those efforts did not produce a change to the ban. Haitian fans will not be in Boston Stadium on June 14th. Their team will play. Their people will watch from screens on the other side of a border that is not open to them. Iran, the most politically complicated story of the tournament's build-up. A country whose participation was itself in doubt for months, whose federation president was turned away at Toronto's airport when attempting to attend the FIFA Congress in Vancouver, whose squad is based in Tijuana, Mexico, crossing the border for match days, whose matches have the highest volume of unsold tickets of any team in the competition, and whose fans, the diaspora communities already inside the United States who love football and love their country, have had to calculate whether gathering publicly in an American city during a World Cup is safe. Côte d'Ivoire, the Africa Cup of Nations champions, one of the most exciting squads in African football. A country with one of the most colorful, loud, and passionate supporter cultures on the continent. They in Group C, alongside Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland. Their fans have partial restrictions, meaning some may be able to apply for visas with additional screening, but the process is uncertain, expensive, and offers no guarantee. The practical effect for most Ivorian fans is the same as a full ban. Senegal, Sadio Mane's last World Cup, the current AFCON runner-up, a squad built around some of the most talented players in African football. Fatou Dihu, the president of a Senegal supporters group for female fans, spoke to Al Jazeera. "We really want to participate, but we don't know how now. We just wait because the World Cup isn't here yet. Maybe they'll change their minds. We don't know. We wait and see." They are still waiting. The tournament has started. Nothing has changed. Those are 4 qualified nations, 4 football federations that did everything FIFA asked of them, that qualified on the pitch fair and square, whose players are there representing their countries with pride and commitment, and whose fans are watching from wherever they can find a screen, excluded from the event the sport is supposed to hold open to everyone. Here's where things get interesting, because beyond those 4 nations, the access problem extends further in ways that haven't been fully reported. The 5th nation directly affected is the Democratic Republic of Congo. Congo qualified for their first World Cup since 1974. Their fans face a full travel ban, and in May, the Ebola outbreak in their home country triggered CDC travel restriction orders that further complicated the situation, creating a 21-day quarantine requirement that was confirmed by multiple host nations. Congo's players arrived. Congo's fans could not follow. And beyond even the 39 officially banned countries, there is the broader chilling effect. Fans from countries not on the ban list, but who have heard the stories, who have seen the images of the Somali referee turned away at Miami airport after 11 hours of questioning, who have read about ISIS's stated role near tournament venues, who know what the climate of travel to the United States currently feels like. Many of them also decided not to come. The hotel data shows it. The European flight booking decline of 14% shows it. The empty seats visible at the Guadalajara Stadium in the tournament's second match show it. The formal list is 39 countries. The informal list of people who felt unwelcome and stayed home is substantially larger. Now, let's talk about Omar Artan, because his story is the most vivid and recent human expression of everything this access crisis represents, and because it has a new chapter that matters deeply. Artan arrived at Miami International Airport on June 7th. He had been named Africa's best referee in 2025. He had refereed the CAF Champions League final on May 24th. He had been selected by FIFA through a 3-year merit assessment process. He would have been the first Somali referee in World Cup history. He was subjected to 11 hours of questioning at Miami Airport and then turned away. CBP's official reason: vetting concerns. FIFA's response was 5 words that should follow this organization everywhere it goes. We are not involved in host country immigration processes. Not a protest, not an objection, not one word of regret for a man who had dedicated his career to reaching this moment. We are not involved. And then something happened that FIFA's silence made possible. In the absence of FIFA's voice, another institution spoke. UEFA intervened. On June 11th, hours before the opening ceremony at the Aztec, UEFA announced it had appointed Omar Artan to officiate the 2026 UEFA Super Cup between Pire Saint-Germain and Aston Villa on August 12th in Salzburg, Austria. UEFA President Alexander Seferin's statement was direct and dignified. Omar Artan is an excellent young but already experienced referee who has proven himself at the highest competition level of the Confederation of African Football. Football is made to connect people, and UEFA wants to show its respect to Omar and his outstanding officiating skills, which had earned him such a prestigious nomination. CAF President Patrice Motsepe said his appointment as a referee of the FIFA World Cup 2026 is a recognition of his world-class refereeing ability and the international respect that he enjoys. This is a great honor for Omar and African referees, and is also an excellent example of football bringing together and uniting people from Africa and Europe and worldwide. The Somali Ministry of Sports confirmed it had been in contact with a range of sporting bodies since Arton's exclusion to raise awareness and request support. We believe UEFA's decision has helped uphold the principles of integrity and fair play in football. Read that last phrase, integrity and fair play in football. The Somali Sports Ministry describing UEFA's response to what FIFA stayed silent about as upholding the principles of integrity and fair play. That contrast between FIFA's silence and UEFA's action is the loudest statement about the governance of this tournament that any institution has made. FIFA could have protested. FIFA could have made a formal request. FIFA could have found another host city in Canada or Mexico where Arton could have been based. Sources told ESPN it would have been impractical due to the need for officials to be in Miami for briefings. Impractical. UEFA found it practical to give him the Super Cup. FIFA found it impractical to find him a room in Canada. Here's what this means for the bigger picture. Because the Arton story and the 39-country ban story are expressions of the same underlying failure. The 2026 World Cup was awarded with human rights criteria embedded in the bidding process for the first time in FIFA's history. Host cities made specific pledges. Atlanta pledged living wages for workers. Dallas pledged human trafficking protection. Vancouver pledged zero tolerance for discrimination. And Amnesty International's assessment published on opening day was a human rights emergency, not progress, not partial delivery, an emergency. The Council on Foreign Relations published its analysis with a specific observation that cuts through every official press release. The United States' immigration policies, it said, have created a situation where 39 countries' nationals cannot attend a sporting event the country is hosting in the name of global football. This matters because the World Cup has never been only about football. It has been the tournament where football's claimed universality, the idea that the sport belongs to everyone, transcends every border, unites people across every division, is either proven or disproven every 4 years. When the tournament works, it proves it. When the stadiums in Guadalajara show empty sections, when a Somali referee is questioned for 11 hours and turned away, when Gabriel Guerre watches his team from a screen instead of a stadium, when Fatou Diédhiou says, "We don't know how to come and wait and see." The claim of universality is not being proven, it's being challenged. And the most powerful response to that challenge did not come from FIFA. It came from UEFA, in a press release appointing one referee to one match in Salzburg in August. Here's what I want to ask you. Not about whether the football has been good. It has. Not about whether the tournament will produce great moments. It will. But about this. When FIFA describes itself as an organization for everyone, when it uses the phrase, "football unites the world," when Infantino says the demand for tickets was 10 times any previous edition, does any of that language mean anything to you anymore? Or has the gap between what FIFA says and what Gabriel Guerre experiences become too wide to bridge with slogans? And here's the football question to balance it. Which of the 4 nations whose fans can't attend, Haiti, Iran, Kivoy, Senegal, do you think could pull off a genuine tournament surprise despite everything surrounding their participation? Leave it in the comments. Every answer matters.